Okay guys, welcome back to my channel, and as you can see, today we're learning about the birds of paradise. This is a very commonly grown plant. As you can see here, there's tons of other plants. The only one that was able to survive was this tall one right here. This one is getting cut probably about 7 years ago. It's been like that. These ones you just had to recently cut this past weekend because it fell on the pool cage right there. But luckily there's no damage to the pool cage, but they fell on it and they made a little dent up there. I don't know if you can really see it on camera. I don't think you can. And this one fell in these poor bushes. So we had to cut that one down, but this one has survived. We've had this plant, you could see the other ones that we had to get cut up this weekend. It's a shame, I really like these plants, but we've had this plant since about 2007, when we first moved into Florida. It came in a pot, probably about the good size of this blue pot right here with plumerias in it. At Home Depot, advertised as a house plant. As you can see, we didn't really know back then because we just moved into Florida. So you can see it turned into that. But there was tons of more on there. Eventually we had to cut some off because you can walk through this path. There's so much of them. But they used to be in a small little blue pot right in the corner right there. Right in that little corner. Just right in there. It got so big it broke the pot in half. So we really had no other area to do it in, but because we had nothing here. When we first moved in, there was nothing here. The house was vacant for a good 2 years, so there's all these areca palm fronds everywhere, and there's nothing here, a couple dead bushes. So we just threw it in right here. And as you can see, that's not the best spot for it, so we might be cutting down this stock too, getting rid of all of them, and putting the dwarf version, the orange bird of paradise. There's a picture of that on screen right now in this area because it's just getting too overgrown. It's in the wrong spot for it. If we had the room and we had a bigger spot, I totally would have just let it grow because it's a really nice tree. As you can see, I really love the leaf formation on it. But I think what we're gonna have to do is just cut this down, get somebody here to get rid of all the stumps here. Put orange bird of paradise, and I'm thinking about some liriopes to do the border of this right here. I'll show you the orange bird of paradise here, which is pretty much the dwarf version. I'm not gonna do everything on it because I'm gonna do a separate video on this probably in a good 20 minutes after this one's posted, literally. It's Veterans Day here, so shout out to all the veterans that were in the Army of World War I, World War II, or any war, or just served in the military, U.S. Army, Coast Guard, or any of those options. You can see here's the orange bird of paradise. They don't get around that as big as the other ones do. They stay small. That's an older version. There was nothing back here but grass. All these plants and everything was added in 2012. So a good almost 10 years. Because it's 2021, almost 2022. It's almost been a good 10 years. But this one's recently new. 2 years old, I think I would say. They just come in a small little pot like this size. So I think that's what we might have to do with some of these lirios right here, bordering all around it. And there's a couple of other birds of paradise down in the neighborhood. I'll show you some of those. But most of them really aren't. There's some fully grown mature ones, but most of them have a couple more years to grow. Some are really old though. You're coming up, there's like 2 examples right here. That looks like it's getting a little overgrown, but it could look good. Looks like they have bird of paradise with some crowing going around it. I bet it did look good. I bet it really did. Oh. We're coming up to our first option here. You can see these ones aren't that old. They're recently a good 8 years old, I would say. They haven't been here that long. They're relatively small. And I will show you a couple more examples of there's not really that much well-established ones in here because this community is really not that old. But they're really common here in Southwest Florida and parts of Florida. They're common around Texas too. There's another one right there. I think that one's a good size. Not really in the best location for it, but it's in a pretty good spot. With this really awesome Cuban royal palm right here. So I wanted to originally get one of those, but they're hard to find since nurseries really don't sell much of them. So I'll see you in the next video. Bye.